start from here. Just give me a minute. Happy starts to survive. ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఎడిట్
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
అడుగుతాను అక్కడ
Okay. O hero, where have you gone now, leaving me forlorn? And I was always your devoted servant. Why did you long for Sita? Alas, my life is useless, as I could not satisfy my lord. Although we roamed and sported together in every delightful region of heaven, I'm now fallen to fearful ocean of grief. Woe be to the fleeting fortune of kings. Mandodari looked up with tear-filled eyes and saw Ravana's brother nearby. Here stands the pious Vibhishana, she cried, having ignored his wise advice. You now are slain. Surely a sinner always reaps the results of sin in the end, just as the virtuous also receive the results. Your brother will now enjoy a royal fortune while you are sent to the next world. Mandodari cried over her husband's body for a long time. Everyone stood by silently, allowing her to vent her grief. Finally, the Rakshas's king, other wives gently lifted her up. They supported her on both sides and led her away while she continued to wail. Rama spoke again to Vibhishana. Death has ended all animosity. Ravana is now the same to me as you. Please perform the proper rites for his everlasting spiritual good. In accordance with time-honored custom, Rama wanted to immediately perform the last rites for his fallen foe. Vibhishana stood reflecting for some moments. He told Rama that he felt unable to perform the funeral rites for his brother. Ravana was cruel, merciless, and given to heinous sins. Although his brother, he was not worthy of Vibhishana's respect. Ravana's obsequious were an act of worship he could not honestly perform. Where did she go? I don't know how to move this. Oh, okay. Rama smiled. O Vibhishana, no disdain should ever be felt for the soul. Once dead, a person's soul leaves his body and proceeds into its next life. Ravana's sinful body is now dead, but his pure soul continues to live. The soul is always worthy of respect. You should therefore carry out the rites for the eternal good of your brother's immortal soul. Vibhishana looked down at Ravana's body. It was a fact. The soul of all beings was a pure part of the Supreme Lord. Ignorance only exists in the external material body, not the soul. Ravana's sins, which proceeded from his ignorance, had ended with the end of his body, especially as he had been slain by the Lord himself. All things of sin were surely cleansed by such death. Vibhishana at once began the necessary rituals. He had his brother's body brought into Lanka and he lit a sacrificial fire, making offerings of grains and ghee and worshipping Vishnu on Ravana's behalf. Along with the elderly Rakshasas and Yatudhanas, headed by Ravana's grandfather Malayavan, Vibhishana carried out all the rituals strictly in accord with the instructions of scripture. Rama's body was placed on a huge bier. He was draped with golden silks and covered with flower garlands. To the sound of various musical instruments, the dead Rakshasa was borne by 100 demons to a consecrated spot. Brahmins among the Rakshasas carried the sacrificial fire in front of Ravana. They built a pyre out of logs, a fragrant sandal, and padmakabud, along with ushira roots and bhadrakali grass. The demons then placed Ravana upon the pyre and threw a handful of parched rice, sesame seeds, and kusha grass. After uttering sacred mantras and sprinkling the pyre with ghee, Vibhishana set it alight. It quickly blazed up, and within moments, the Rakshasa king's body was reduced to ashes. Chapter 14 Sita's Ordeal. After witnessing Ravana's destruction, the gods and rishis departed joyfully for their various heavenly abodes. Matali bowed before Rama and received permission to return with his chariot to Indra. Rama watched as the celestial vehicle rose high into the sky and disappeared. His fury with Rakshasas had completely subsided. He now thought of Vibhishana's installation of the new king of Lanka. As the city was upon the earth, it was within the jurisdiction of the earth emperors, although inhabited by Rakshasas. Thus Rama desired to install the pious Vibhishana as his righteous ruler, so as to quickly reestablish order in the devastated city. Rama asked Lakshman to perform the ceremony of consecrating Vibhishana on Lanka's throne. Lakshman immediately had the monkeys fetch seawater in large golden jars. With that water, he duly consecrated Vibhishana, carefully following the directions given in the Vedas. Vibhishana sat upon the throne and blazed with regal splendor. The Rakshasas were joyful to see Ravana's brother assume the rulership of Lanka, and they brought him many gifts and offerings. Vibhishana offered all these to Rama, who accepted them out of his love for the Rakshasa. When the ceremony was complete, Rama asked Hanuman to go quickly to Sita. He was aching to see her again, and he said to Hanuman, "Please inform the princess of the good news. I long to see her. Tell her to make herself ready so that very soon I may meet with her." Hanuman at once left for the gardens. As he made his way through Lanka, he was honored by the Rakshasas who folded their palms and as he passed by. Quickly reaching the Ashoka grove, he saw Sita still lying at the foot of the Simshapa tree. She was unaware of Rama's victory and appeared mournful. Upon seeing Hanuman, however, she quickly stood up in hope. Surely the monkey must be bearing good news. The princess listened expectantly as Hanuman told her all that had happened. O godly lady, your husband has come out victorious. The demon Ravana is no more, and the virtuous Vibhishana is now the ruler of Lanka. Dear mother, your woes are ended. Please prepare yourself to see your lord Rama. Sita was stunned with joy. She could not make any reply and simply stood for some time gazing at Hanuman, with tears flowing from her eyes. At last, Sita said in the choked voice, "Oh, good monkey, I cannot think of anything I can offer you in return for this news. Not gold or silver or gems, not even the sovereignty of all the worlds is equal to the value of this message." Hanuman replied that hearing her joyful reply was itself more valuable than any gift, and having seen Rama emerge victorious and happy, Hanuman desired nothing more. Sita praised Hanuman again and again as the monkey stood with his head bowed and palms joined together. When the princess stopped speaking, he said to her, "If you permit me, I shall punish these wicked Rakshasas who have made your life so miserable. I would like to give them a good thrashing. They surely deserve death for their evil conduct against you, O divine lady." Sita pondered for some moments within herself. She looked at the Rakshasas who sat at a distance, no longer concerned with her now that Ravana was dead. Turning to Hanuman, Sita replied, "The Rakshasas were simply carrying out Ravana's order. No blame should be attached to them. Furthermore, any suffering I felt was surely the result of my own past misdeeds, for such is the universal law. Indeed, there is an ancient maxim which is always the code of the virtuous. A righteous man does not consider the offenses of others against him. At all costs, he always observes the vow of not returning evil for evil, for the virtuous consider good conduct their ornament." Sita said that, that compassion should always be shown towards sinners, for no one was ever found to be free of sin. Admonished in this way, Hanuman bowed to her and made no argument. Sita had spoken well, quite in accord with her noble character. After reflecting on her words for some moments, the monkey then asked, "I wish to return now to Rama. Please give me a message for him." Sita replied that she only wished to see him. Hanuman assured her that she would very soon see Rama. Bowing once again, he left and made his way back to Vibhishana's palace, where Rama was waiting. Hearing of Sita's condition, Rama asked Vibhishana to arrange that she be given celestial clothes and ornaments. "O king of Rakshasas, please give that princess be with heavenly unguents and dressed in finest silks. Then have her brought here. My heart is burning with desire to see her again." Vibhishana personally went to Sita with Rama's instruction. But Sita, anxious to see Rama, said, "I wish to see my husband immediately without having bathed or dressed." Sita had suffered through almost a year of torture. She had never stopped thinking of the day she would be reunited with Rama. Here it was at last. How could she possibly wait another moment? Vibhishana replied gently that it was Rama's desire that she prepare herself. Sita, accepting Rama's word as her order acquiesced, and Vibhishana immediately arranged for her bath and clothing. In a short while, the princess was adorned in costly robes and jewels worthy of the consorts of the gods. She mounted a golden palanquin bedecked with celestial gems and was borne into Rama's presence. Crowds of Rakshasas and monkeys filled the streets, all anxious of a glimpse of the princess. Seated on the palanquin behind the silk veil, Sita shone like a sun shrouded by a cloud. Rakshasas wearing dark jackets and turbans and carrying staffs fitted with bells cleared the path for her. The crowds of onlookers who were roaring like the ocean parted as the palanquin made its way slowly along the main highway. Vibhishana went ahead and informed Rama that his wife was on her way. Hearing that she was on a palanquin, Rama said to Vibhishana, "The princess should be asked to dismount and proceed on foot. The people decided to see her, and that is not condemned by scripture. A house, a veil, or a costume are never the protection of a chaste woman. Her character alone is her shield." Lakshman, Sugriva, and Hanuman looked at Rama with surprise. He appeared to be displeased with Sita. His expression was stern and thoughtful. As Vibhishana conducted Sita into his presence, Rama looked at her without smiling. Sita was overjoyed to see Rama again, and her face shone like the moon. But she felt abashed when she saw his grave expression. Her limbs trembled, and she stood before him with her head bowed and hands folded. Rama's heart was torn. He deeply wanted to show his love for Sita and to take her back at once. But he feared public censure. As a king, he wanted to set the highest example for the people. Sita had been in the house of another man for almost a year. Whatever the circumstances, that would surely be criticized by some of the people. Questions about her chastity might be raised. That would never be acceptable for the wife of an emperor. Looking at Sita, whose face was bathed in tears, Rama said, "O blessed one, I have won you back today. After conquering my enemies in battle, I have avenged the insult given me through your abduction. You too are fully avenged. O princess, the evil Ravana is no more." Rama stopped speaking, his heart balking at what he had to say next. Steadying his mind, he continued to address the tremulous Sita. "Now that I have wiped off the stain of insult on my noble house and established my truthfulness and resolve, No further purpose remains for me in this matter. O gentle lady, I have not undergone this endeavor out of a desire to again have you as my wife. You have long dwelt in the house of another. How then I can take you back into my house? Your good character has become suspect. Ravana clasped you in his arms and looked upon you with a lustful eye. Therefore, my attachment for you has ended. Please go wherever you may desire. Perhaps you may now find shelter with Lakshman or Bharata or Shatrughna or even Bibhishana. As beautiful as you are, O Sita, how could Ravana have left you alone? Sita was shocked. She wept loudly and shook like a sapling caught in a storm, greatly shamed by her husband's words. She shrank into herself. Rama's speech had pierced her like poisoned arrows, and she cried in pain for a long time. Gradually gathering her senses, she replied to Rama in faltering tones. Why do you address me with such unkind words, O hero, like a common man addressing some vulgar woman? You are judging all women by the standards of a degraded few. Give up your doubts in me, for I am without blame. When Ravana snatched me, I was helpless and dragged against my will. Although I could not control my limbs, my heart remained under my control and did not deviate from you even slightly. If in spite of our living together in love for so long, you still do not trust me, then I'm surely undone for good. Angry, Sita admonished and taunted Rama. Why had he gone to such great endeavors? He could have sent a message with Hanuman telling her that he was rejecting her. Then she would have immediately given up her life and saved him all the effort of war. It seemed he had given way to anger alone, just like an ordinary man. Like a mean man, he had not considered her devotion and chastity toward him. He had forgotten her divine origins and taken her to be an ordinary woman. Sita, still weeping, turned to Lakshman. Oh, Prince, please raise for me a pyre. This is my only resource now. I no longer desire to live, being smitten with false reproaches. As my husband has renounced me in a public gathering, I shall enter fire and give up my life. Lakshman was indignant. How could Rama act in this way? He looked at his brother, but Rama remained impassive. He returned Lakshman's glance with a slight nod. Lakshman understood his desire and, feeling deeply pained and perplexed, constructed a pyre. Rama stood like Yamaraja, the god of justice. No one dared approach him or say anything. Only Sita came near him. She walked around him in respect and approached the blazing fire. The princess then prayed with folded hand, If I have never been unfaithful to Ram, if I have never been unfaithful to Rama, either in mind, words, or body, may the fire god protect me on all sides. As my heart ever abides to Rama, so my fire god save me now. As all the gods are witness to my chastity, let the fire god protect me. After uttering this prayer, Sita walked around the fire and then fearlessly entered it before the vast assembly. Sita seemed like a golden altar with its sacred fire. Gods, rishis, Gandharvas, Siddhas, and other divine beings observed Sita walking deep into the fire, and all the women in the assembly sent up a great cry as they watched her ascend the pyre like a goddess fallen from heaven and entering hell. A gasp of amazement and shock came from the crowd as she disappeared into the flames. Rama was blinded by tears. He was afflicted to hear the cries of the people. With his mind set on virtue and his heart wracked in grief, he watched Sita walk into the fire. From the sky, the gods, headed by Brahma, addressed Rama. How are you allowing this divine lady to enter fire? Do you not recall your actual identity? What is the display of yours, O Lord? Rama looked at the gods and folded his palms. He replied, I take myself to be a human. My name is Rama, the son of Dasharatha. Let Brahma tell me who I was in my former lives. From the sky, the four-headed Brahma, seated upon his swan carrier, replied, O Rama, I know you as the original creator of the cosmos. You are Vishnu and Narayana, the one supreme person who is known by many names. All the gods came from you, and the worlds rest upon your energy. You exist within and without all things and reside in the heart of every being. Your existence and actions are inconceivable. You have appeared as Rama for the destruction of Ravana and the deliverance of your devoted servants. Now that you have accomplished your purposes, you should return to your own abode. Rama bowed his head and said nothing. At that moment, the fire god emerged from the fire, holding Sita in his arms. The princess was dressed in a red robe, and she shone brightly like the rising sun. She wore a garland of celestial flowers, and she was adorned with brilliant gems. Her dark curly hair framed her face, which glowed with transcendental beauty. Agni placed Sita before Rama and spoke in a voice that boomed out like a thunder. Here is your wife Sita. No sin exists in her, neither by word, deed, or thought, nor thought, not even by glance has she ever been unfaithful to you. Ravana forcefully snatched her away while she was helpless and forlorn. Although kept captive by him, her mind and heart remained focused on you at every moment. She did not give a single thought to Ravana despite being tempted and threatened by him in many ways. Therefore, Rama, accept her back with an open heart. Rama experienced great joy upon hearing Agni's speech. His eyes flooded with tears as he replied to the fire god. Sita needed this purificatory ordeal, otherwise, the world would have condemned me as foolish and controlled by lust. She dwelt in Rama's house for a long time, and her chastity had to be proven to the world, although I know of her undivided love for me. Indeed, guarded as she is by her own moral power, Ravana could not have violated Sita any more than the sea could transgress its bounds. Rama declared Sita to be as inseparable from him as sunlight from the sun. He could no more renounce her than a virtuous man could renounce righteousness. Sita bloomed with happiness. She sat next to Rama on a golden throne. The gods and rishis appeared in the assembly offering praises to Rama. Shiva personally came before Rama and said, "You have killed the scourge and dread of the universe, O Rama. You should now depart for Ayodhya and comfort your relatives there. Then be pleased to rule over this world for a long time." Shiva told Rama that his father Dasharatha was present, seated in a celestial chariot in the sky. Rama looked up and saw the chariot descending slowly. His father, appearing in a body that shone with celestial splendor, gazed down at him. Leaving the chariot, he came down to earth and embraced Rama tightly. He sat next to his son and began to speak. Although I reside with Indra, I do not feel as much pleasure there as I do now upon seeing you again. The words uttered by Kaikeyi when sending you into exile are still impressed upon my heart, but today I am fully rid of my sorrow. I have been redeemed by you, dear Rama. 14 years have passed, and your exile is ended. I long to see you return to Ayodhya and assume your throne after pacifying Kaushalya and the mighty Bharata. O Rama, I now understand your identity. You are the Supreme Lord, born on earth for the good of the world. Rama asked his father to retract the words he had uttered when he had owned Kaikeyi and her son. They were both blameless in every respect. Dasharatha ascended to Rama's request. He embraced Lakshman and praised him for his selfless service to Rama, asking him to continue that service when Rama became the emperor. Dasharatha then spoke to Sita, "O daughter, do not think ill of Rama for his repudiation of you. He only desired to prove your absolute purity. Your entering the fire was an act which will forever overshadow the renown of all virtuous ladies." Sita folded her palms and bowed to her father-in-law, who rose again to his aerial chariot and left for the heavens. The other gods paid their respects to Rama and then left for their own abodes. Indra approached Rama and said, "A sight of the gods can never go in vain. O Rama, pray tell us what you desire, and it shall be done at once." Smiling, Rama asked Indra to return to life all the slain monkeys, even those whose bodies had been torn and devoured. He also asked that wherever the monkeys may live, there should be abundant fruits and roots for their food. Indra replied, "Although difficult to grant, your desire shall be fulfilled. Let all the monkeys rise again, even those whose heads and limbs have been severed. Let them be reunited with their families, and let trees full of fruits, even out of season, forever grow where they dwell." The powerful gods sprinkled the celestial nectar from the sky. The monkeys who were killed then rose from the ground, amazed to see themselves healed and restored to life. They looked at one another and asked, "What miracle is this?" They leaped and shouted for joy, coming together like a great roaring ocean. Indra bid farewell to Rama and departed along with all the other gods. As the god's blazing chariot disappeared into the sky, Rama ordered that the monkeys camp for the night while he and Sita rested in Vibhishana's palace. Chapter 15. Back to Ayodhya. The following morning, Vibhishana approached Rama and told him his bath was ready. The Rakshasa said, "Hot and cold baths, as well as every sort of cosmetic unguents and perfume are ready. And we have prepared heavenly garments and garlands. Excellent maidservants, well versed in the arts of decoration, are at your service, O Rama." Rama replied that he had no desire for any kind of pleasure until after he had seen Bharata. He told Vibhishana, "That prince is now living in austerity. He bathes in cold rivers and eats only roots and fruits gleaned from the forest. How can I accept my luxuries?" Rama asked Vibhishana to find some means by which he could return quickly to Ayodhya. Vibhishana replied that the heavenly Pushpaka chariot was available. Ravana took this chariot, which moves according to one's will from Kuvera. It still remains in Lanka, desiring to render you service, O Rama. Vibhishana bowed low before Rama and repeatedly requested him to stay for a while in Lanka and accept his hospitality. But Rama was anxious to depart. He thought of his mother and of Bharata, how they must long to see him again. His exile was now over. He had promised to return immediately. If he did not return, they would surely be consumed by grief and anxiety. Bharata might even give up his life. Rama said, "You have already fully honored me with your first class counsel and advice. You have served me well on the battlefield, and I am deeply indebted to you. But now you must grant me leave, O Bali and Rakshasa. My task is accomplished, and I must return quickly to Ayodhya." Vibhishana acceded. He at once invoked the Pushpaka, and it appeared in the sky. Rama gazed with wonder at the glowing golden chariot, with its lofty jewel-encrusted mansions and countless golden trellises, wreathed with garlands of heavenly flowers. After inviting Rama to board the chariot, Vibhishana said, "Is there any final service I can render to you before you leave?" Rama asked the Rakshasa to bestow riches upon all the monkeys, give them abundant gold and jewels, and to take back with them. The king should always reward his army. They should be well cared for and given everything they desire, for they must lay down their lives for his sake. Vibhishana at once made arrangements for profuse wealth to be distributed to the monkeys. Then he helped Rama and Sita to ascend the chariot. Rama again thanks Vibhishana for his service, and the Rakshasa sorrowfully watched him prepare to leave. Just as Rama was about to depart, Sugriva approached him. "O Rama, pray take the monkeys with you," he begged. "We all desire to see you installed as an emperor. After that, we will return to our own lands." Rama smiled and agreed. He invited all the monkeys to mount a celestial chariot, which was like a golden city. Looking at Bibhishana, he added, "You too should accompany, no noble one. With all your kinsfolk and friends, please mount this chariot and come to Ayodhya." Once everyone was on board, the Pushpaka rose high into the sky. It flew gracefully with an image of a great swan at its front seeming to draw it along. As it flew, Rama pointed out to Sita the sides below. He showed her the battlefield, telling her how all the principal Rakshasas had been slain. While they crossed the sea, he explained how Hanuman had leaped to Lanka. As the chariot reached Kishkindha, Rama had it stop, and he told Sugriva, "Quickly descend and fetch your wives and kinsfolk, O monkey. They too should be brought to Ayodhya." With all the monkeys back aboard, the chariot continued. Soon they passed over the forest where Rama had spent his exile. When they reached Bharajvaya's hermitage, Rama desired to meet with Rishi. He stopped the chariot and bent down to see the sage, bowing low before him. "Bharadvaja," offered his blessings, and informed Rama that Bharata was anxious to see him. The sage knew of everything in Ayodhya from his disciples, who visited the city frequently. He told Rama that everyone was expecting his return at any moment. Rama replied, "Please exert your power and make all the trees surrounding Ayodhya filled with heavenly fruits. All those who will travel to the city to witness my coronation should be amply fed." At once, Bharadbaja meditated, and by his mystic power, all the trees of 20 miles around Ayodhya became heavy with fruit. The sage said to Rama, "You should enter Ayodhya tomorrow after sending ahead a messenger." Rama agreed and turned to Hanuman. He asked the monkey to proceed ahead to the city and inform Bharata that he would soon arrive. On the way, the monkey should stop at Sringavera and inform Guga of the news. Rama then said to Hanuman, "Closely observe Bharata's features. When you tell him that I am returning, I wish to know his reaction. A kingdom rich in lands and wealth could surely attract anyone's mind. If he has developed an attachment for the kingdom, then I shall let him continue to rule as an emperor." Hanuman left at once. He bounded swiftly through the forest lands and soon reached Guha's abode, telling him the happy news. The Nishadha king was overjoyed, and he immediately set about preparing to leave for Ayodhya. Without delay, Hanuman continued to Ayodhya, and he arrived early the following morning. At a distance of 2 miles from the city, he found Bharata's dwelling. There he saw the prince clad in black deerskins, emaciated from fasting, his hair matted. He sat by his wooden hut and shone with ascetic glory, and he was surrounded by his ministers and priests dressed in similar ascetic clothing. Hanuman approached Bharata and found him continuously repeating Rama's name. The monkey at once lay flat on the ground, offering his obeisances. Then, with folded palms, he stood before the prince and said, "Having completed his exile to slay Ravana, Rama will soon arrive, accompanied by Sita and Lakshman. He has asked after your welfare, and he longs to be reunited with you." Bharata was overwhelmed with joy and sank to the ground in a faint. After regaining consciousness, he stood up and embraced Hanuman. The prince shed tears of happiness, and he spoke in an exuberant voice, "O monkey, I do not know if you are a god or rishi or what, but you have told me the most wonderful news. I shall give you 100,000 cows and many beautiful maidens adorned with golden jewels." Bharata asked Hanuman to tell him in full what had happened to Rama since his departure, and the monkey recounted the tale. Bharata was delighted. He told Shatrugna to go into the city and spread the news of
Ramanta
Rama.
Mataji,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you. Can you open the door for Triveni? Please, sorry.
Okay. Bharata was delighted. He told Shatrughna to go into the city and spread the news of Rama's impending return. Bharata ordered that the city be fully decorated with pennants and garlands, and everyone should come out to greet Rama. Hanuman could easily understand Bharata's heart. Rama should have no doubt about his brother. His devotion for Rama was obviously no less than the devotion Hanuman himself felt. The monkey shed tears of joy as he witnessed Bharata's display of love for Rama. Shatrughna, along with Bharata's ministers, went into the city and began to prepare. They had Kaushalya and Sumitra placed upon palanquins and brought to Nandagram, where Bharata was living. Behind them came thousands of citizens, some walking, some on elephants or horseback, and others in chariots. The blast of conches and the roll of drums was tumultuous. A great roar came from the huge crowds, and it appeared as if the entire population of Ayodhya had come out of the city. The 14 years of Rama's exile had already ended, and all the citizens longed only for his return. Many other monarchs were also present in Ayodhya, having been invited by Bharata to be present when Rama returned. By the end of the day, the whole region of Nandigram was completely crowded with people, all hoping for a glimpse of Rama. Bharata stood gazing to the south. He felt anxious. Had this monkey been telling the truth? Was Rama really about to return? When would he arrive? He questioned Hanuman again and again, and the monkey repeatedly reassured him. Suddenly, Bharata saw in the distance the shining Pushpaka. Hanuman then shouted, pointing it out to Bharata. Here comes the highly glorious Rama, he cried. The shout was echoed by the crowd of citizens, and a great clamor arose. They looked with amazement at the celestial vehicle carrying Rama and Sita, which appeared above the horizon like the sun and moon joined together. Bharata fell to the ground like a rod, offering his prostrated obeisances with his arms outstretched toward the chariot. The Pushpaka descended to earth, and Rama dismounted along with Lakshman and Sita. Bharata ran over to them with Shatrughna, and the four brothers embraced each other for a long time. All the principal monkeys, headed by Sugriva, Angada, and Hanuman, assumed human forms and disembarked from the chariot. Along with Vibhishana, they were greeted warmly by Bharata, who embraced them all. Bharata said to Sugriva, "You are like a fifth brother to all of us, O Monkey King." Rama saw Kaushalya nearby, and he broke free from the crowd of people who were pressing in around him. Quickly approaching his mother, he fell before her and clasped her feet. She was pale and emaciated through grief and separation from her son. Next to her was Sumitra, who appeared in a similar condition. Rama also bowed before her and touched her feet with reverence. As they met Rama, the faces of both of those ladies looked like celestial lotuses in full bloom. Rama greeted Kayi and the other royal ladies who had come there. He offered his obeisances to Vashista and the Brahmins who uttered auspicious hymns from the Vedas. Rama then bowed at the feet of his father-in-law, Janaka, who shed tears of joy to see him return safe with Sita. As he stood up and looked around, Rama smiled at the citizens, bringing joy to their hearts. Bharata brought Rama sandals, which had been kept upon Ayodhya's throne. He placed them before Rama and said, "Here is the entire kingdom, held in trust by me on your behalf. Now I render it back to you, Rama. My birth has borne fruit today, and my deepest desire is fulfilled, for I see you returned as the king of Ayodhya." Bharata told Rama that everything in the kingdom, its square storehouses, army and crops had increased tenfold, but he was gone. All this is due to your influence alone, O Rama, for I rule the kingdom, thinking only of your example. Rama embraced Bharata again and again, and the two brothers shed tears of joy, seeing the display of affection between them. The monkeys and Vibhishana wept. Rama then looked up at Pushpaka and said, "Oh, Pushpaka, you may now return to your master Kuvera. I thank you for your service." The heavenly chariot then rose into the sky and disappeared. Then everyone was seated. Bharata addressed Rama. Please assume the rulership of this world. Although I have officiated in your absence, I can no more rule in your presence than a candle can give light in the presence of the sun. Let the world see you shining with dazzling splendor after being consecrated upon the throne of Ayodhya. We all long only for this, O Raghava. Rama replied, "Let it be so," and a great cheer went up from the assembly. Rama then had the royal barbers cut his hair, which was still in a mass of matted locks. He took his bath and dressed in costly silks and brilliant gold ornaments. Many garlands of celestial flowers were hung around his neck, and he was daubed with sandal paste of various colors. Emperor Dasharatha's widows dressed in decorated sita. Her splendid beauty captivated the soul of whoever looked upon her. When Rama and his three brothers were all prepared, Bharata summoned Sumantra and the royal chariot. He personally took the reins and Rama climbed aboard with Sita. As the chariot proceeded toward the city, Lakshmana and Vibhishana fanned Rama on either side with white whisks, while Shatrughna held the royal parasol over his head. Hundreds of sages walked in front of the chariot, chanting mantras and hymns. Behind the chariot came Sugriva, still in human semblance, riding upon a great elephant, and followed by 9,000 other elephants bearing other monkeys. The procession moved in state through the Ayodhya, accompanied by the last of countless conches, by the blast of countless conches and the roll of thousands of drums. They were followed by crowds of citizens, all anxious to see Rama's coronation. The city streets were beautifully decorated with flags and garlands. From the balconies of the emergers, women threw a handful of flower petals and parched rice. Rama looked around and Rama looked around at everyone and smiled, raising his hand in blessing. Rama entered his father's palace and ordered Bharata to take Sugriva to his own palace. Bharata left Rama to rest for the night, and after arranging all the monkeys' accommodations, he told Sugriva, "The coronation will take place tomorrow. Please arrange to fetch water from the ocean and rivers." Sugriva agreed and summoned Hanuman, Jambavan, Rishabha, and Gavaya. He gave each of them a golden pail encrusted with gems and told them to bring water from each of the four oceans in the north, south, east, and west. The monkeys bowed it away and swiftly carried out the order. Another 500 monkeys fetched water from different sacred rivers all over the country. By morning, all this water had been given to Vashistha for the ceremony. The coronation began early in the morning, and Rama was ritualistically bathed by the Brahmins. 16 beautiful virgin girls consecrated him in accordance with the spiritual procedure. Following this, Rama was bathed by his ministers and chief warriors, and then by the leaders of the trading community. From the ear, the four guardians of the world sprinkled Rama with celestial nectar. When the bathing was over, Vashistha had the crown placed on Rama's head. This crown had been created by Brahma and was first worn by Manu himself. It shone with the brilliance of the sun, wearing the golden crown, and seated upon a throne made of precious stones. Rama was radiant and difficult to behold. Seated next to him was the exquisitely adorned Sita, enhancing Rama's grandeur and magnificence. Vayu came in person and presented to Rama an fading garland of 100 celestial lotuses, which imbued its wearer with unfailing vigor and energy. At the urging of Indra, he also gave Rama a priceless necklace of pearls interspersed with heavenly jewels of every variety. Taking that necklace, Rama turned and placed it on Sita's breast. She immediately lifted it in her two delicate hands and glanced over to Hanuman. Understanding her desire, Hanuman knelt before the princess and she placed the necklace over his head. Rising up again with a celestial ornament on his chest, Hanuman appeared like a dark thundercloud decorated with lightning bolts. Gandharvas sang while the Apsaras danced their mind-stealing dances, filled with movements and gestures deep with meaning. The huge crowd cried out, "Victory to Rama, and all glories to Sita and Rama." The earth itself seemed to rejoice and gave forth abundant crops and fruits, as well as flowers, which released a delightful fragrance carried on gentle breezes. The gods filled with the canopy of the sky, and all the divine beings experienced the highest ecstasy upon seeing Rama united with Sita. Rama turned to Sita and smiled. His purpose was fulfilled. Epilogue. A month had passed since the coronation. Gradually, the celebrations ended and life in Ayodhya returned to normal. Knowing that his guests were thinking of returning to their own kingdoms, Rama began to say his farewells. He spoke first to his father-in-law, Janaka, who had been staying with him in his palace. Folding his palms in reverence, Rama said, "My lord, sure you are our immovable support. We stand by you. We stand protected by you, O king. By virtue of your ascetic power and your blessings, I was able to slay Ravana. The bonds of affection between our two families are unbreakable. Please accept these gifts and then feel free to proceed back to Midhila at our pleasure. Bharata and Shatrughna will follow at your heels to escort you there." Tears filled Janaka's eyes as he witnessed Rama's humility. He looked over at the great pile of riches Rama was offering him. "I feel gratified simply by your sight, O Rama. Let all this wealth be bestowed upon my daughter Sita. I have no wish to leave, but duty dictates that I return to Mithila. I shall now depart, but my mind will never leave you." Janaka rose to leave and tightly embraced Rama. He then went out of the chamber and followed by his ministers and by Bharat and Shatrughna. One by one, Rama said fond farewells to all the other kings who had come for the coronation, offering each of them gold and other wealth as parting gifts. Those kings all expressed their sorrow to be leaving and gazed at Rama's face without feeling satiated. After circumambulating him in respect, they gathered together all their followers and armies and slowly marched out of Ayodhya. The earth shook as the many hundreds of kings and princes left the city on their golden chariots, accompanied by their multitudes of troops. As they left, they expressed their disappointment that they and the armies had not been able to join Rama in his fight against Ravana. "Surely this great display of might is useless, as we were not able to engage in Rama's service," they lamented. "Bharata summoned us too late." When all the kings had gone, Rama spoke with the monkey chiefs. He thanked them again for all their service and embraced them with love. Taking valuable ornaments from his own body, Rama placed them on the bodies of Angada and Hanuman. He spoke affectionately to all the monkeys, offering them profuse quantities of riches. "O Vanaras, you should depart now for Kishkindha. Rule over your subject with justice and love. You have all rendered me a great service which I shall never forget." Hanuman knelt before Rama and folded his palms. "O Rama, I do not know how can I leave you. I have one request before I go. Please let my supreme affection for you stand forever. May my devotion remain constant, and may life remain in my body for as long as your story is being told on this earth. Let me stay in some heavenly region, continuously hearing your story being told to me by Apsaras or other celestial being. In this way, my pain of separation from you will be allayed." Rama smiled. "It shall be so, O Prince of Monkeys. Your life and indeed your fame will endure for as long as my story lasts in the world. That will be for as long as the worlds themselves last. I am forever indebted to you, O monkey. May my obligation to you stay always in my heart. May the time never come when I need to repay you your service, for such times are times of difficulty." The monkeys, who felt as if the past month in Rama's company had been only a day, reluctantly departed from Ayodhya, their eyes filled with tears and their minds absorbed in thoughts of Rama. Rama then said his farewell to Vibhishana, asking him to rule Lanka with righteousness. He also instructed the Pushpaka chariot to make its way back to Kovera in the heavenly planets. Within a few days, everyone had left, and Rama began his rule of Ayodhya, assisted by Lakshman and guided by the rishis. Within some days of his guest's departure, Rama was visited by a number of great sages, headed by Agastya. After they had been received with all the respect by Rama, they took their seats in his assembly hall. Questioned by Rama, Agastya related everything about Ravana's birth and history, as well as that of all the principal Rakshasas. The sage told the royal court about the history of great Vanaras. After Agastya had finished speaking, Rama said, "Oh, all-powerful sage, I am amazed at hearing your wonderful narrations. By your very sight, we have all been blessed, but I have one request. Soon I shall perform sacrifices for the good of the world. Please bless me, but these will be successful. Indeed, if it pleases you, then come again to Ayodhya at that time to grace us with your holy presence." Rama requested all the sages to attend his sacrifice, and they replied, "It shall be so." Then they rose in a body and left the assembly. As Rama ruled over Ayodhya, everything became auspicious. It was seen that nobody died prematurely, nor was there fear any of distress. The world had no robbers, and no one suffered by any harm from others. Every creature felt pleased, and all men were devoted to righteousness. They performed all their duties as service to Rama, and they always thought of him within their hearts. Rains fell when desired, and earth gave forth abundant produce. All people had everything they needed, and they are fully satisfied, being free from avarice. 2 years passed. One day Rama was walking with Sita in the palace gardens. Having just heard that she had become pregnant, he smiled broadly and exclaimed, "Excellent, O beautiful lady, tell me what desire of yours should be fulfilled." As they strolled, Sita admired the many blossoming trees and bushes in the garden. She was reminded of her time with Rama in the forest. Remembering the celestial beauty of the forest, she said, "O Lord, I have a longing to once more visit the penance groves inhabited by the sages. Let me stay there for a night and at the feet of those rishis." Rama squeezed Sita's hand. "Oh, princess, be it so. You will surely go tomorrow." The couple sat down in a shaded bower where they were entertained by apsaras and naga damsels, who danced to the exquisite music played by Gandharvas. Soon the sun set, and they retired for the evening into the palace inner chambers. The following morning, after he had performed his religious rituals, Rama entered his council hall. Taking his seat on a great golden throne, he inquired from his chief minister, "Oh, Bhadra, tell me what are the talks of the people? What do they say about me and about my rule? Kings who are not devoted to duty are criticized everywhere." With joined palms, Bhadra replies, "O king, delightful are the talks I have heard from the people. Mostly they discuss your conquest of Ravana and the recovery of Mother Sita." Bhadra glanced downward as he spoke, and Rama, catching the gesture, asked, "What else do they say, your minister? Leaving nothing out. Leave nothing out. Tell me both the good and the ill words which are spoken. I shall then know what must be done by myself. O Bhadra, speak without any fear or anguish." Bhadra took a deep breath. "O Lord, listen as I relate the words I have heard while moving among the people. Everywhere, in marketplaces, public squares, crossroads, and the forest, the people are heard to recite the glories of your wonderful victory. However, O great emperor, I have also heard criticism." Bhadra described how some of the citizens were questioning Rama's acceptance of Sita back into his home. They say that the princess, having been taken into Ravana's lap and kept by him for almost 1 year, cannot now be considered pure. Because, O Rama, you have allowed her back into your house, these people say they will have to tolerate similar unchaste behavior from their own wives. Whatever a king does becomes acceptable behavior for all the people. Bhadra looked down at the mosaic floor. Tears fell from the corners of his eyes. He had not wanted to tell his master about the criticism, but he knew that nothing could be kept concealed from Rama. Rama appeared shocked. He looked around at his other ministers. "Is this true? Are such talks indulged by the citizens?" All the ministers appeared aggrieved. They affirmed that Bhadra had said, each of them bowing low before Rama as he spoke. Rama became pensive. He dismissed the court and asked that Lakshman be summoned. As the prince entered the court, he saw Rama sitting down with downcast expression, seeming like an eclipsed sun. He hurried to his side and asked what was wrong. Rama explained everything, then said, "Dear brother, the calumny of the people eats into my very vitals. It can never be tolerated by a virtuous monarch. Surely I knew that this criticism would ensure, and thus did I test Sita at the time of her turn. However, it seems that even though the gods have attested To her purity, the citizens are still not satisfied. Allah, surely one's infamy is easily proclaimed in this world. Rama shook his head as he went on. Infamy is to be avoided by all means. It is censored even by the gods. As long as one's infamy remains current on earth, one stays in hell. Great souls always enter for fame and good repute in this world. To avoid this repute, I would give up my brothers or even my own life. What then of Sita? Rama instructed the astonished Lakshmana to immediately take Sita out of Ayodhya and into the forest where she should be left. She was already expecting to go there for a visit, so he would not need to tell her the truth. Rama spoke gravely. I will not hear any arguments against this, dear brother. Sita should be taken this very day to Valmiki's ashrama, which lies in the banks of the Ganges. After leaving her there, come back alone to Ayodhya. Having spoken, Rama left the court and went with heavy heart to his personal quarters. Lakshman slowly made his way towards Sita's room. Surely this was the most difficult task he had ever faced. If it were left to him, thought Lakshman, he would go out and find the men who were criticizing Rama and put them straight. Where was the question that Sita could ever be unchaste? What fault had Rama committed? But Rama's order could not be avoided. Lakshman had Sumantra prepared his chariot, and he went before Sita, telling them that Rama had asked him to fulfill her desire to visit the forest. Highly pleased, Sita asked her servants to gather together many costly garments and precious jewels. I shall distribute these to the wives of the rishis, she said, smiling. Lakshman said nothing in reply. He returned and walked toward the chariot, with Sita following behind. As she walked, she began to notice unusual omens. She spoke in surprise. Oh, son of Sumitra, why is that my right eye throbs and my limbs shiver? My heart feels heavy and my mind is filled with anxiety. The earth itself seems distressed and all quarters appear desolate. May all be well with my Lord and indeed with all the living beings. Sita prayed with folded hands as she made her way out of the palace. Reaching the chariot, Lakshman said, all is well, O queen. There is no cause for fear. I think your mind is disturbed by the thought of separation from Rama for even a day. Ascend the chariot and we shall leave at once for the banks of the auspicious Ganges. Feeling reassured, Sita climbed aboard the large chariot and Lakshman jumped up next to Sumantra in the front. The charioteer urged on the horses and they set off for the forest. After journeying for the most of the day, they arrived at the river bank close to Valmiki's ashrama. The three travelers got down and offered their respects to the holy river, bowing their heads to the ground. Thinking of Rama's order that he returned at once, Lakshman looked at Sita, who was kneeling by the side of the river offering prayers. The time had come to leave her. She would have no difficulty finding Valmiki's ashrama, which lay only a short distance away along a smooth forest path. Ashamed of himself for abandoning the queen, the prince did not want to enter the ashrama. He sighed deeply. Now he would have to tell Sita the truth. Losing control of himself, he suddenly let out a great cry and fell to the earth. Sita looked up in surprise. What ails you, O Lakshman? We are here by the banks of the sacred Ganges and about to see the great rishis. Why do you wail at such a happy moment? You're making me sad. I know you're always by Rama's side. Is that separation from him for even 2 days and so intolerable? Oh, hero, take heart. Rama is just as dear to me, but I do not give way to such sorrow. Sita asked Lakshman to take her to the ascetic's hermitage. Let us spend a single night with those sages, dear Lakshman, and then return to Rama's presence. Lakshman slowly got up. His face was covered with tears and his body trembled. He folded his arms and replied with difficulty, O auspicious one, my heart feels as though pierced with a dart. I have been entrusted with a task that will make me worthy of the whole world's censor. Surely I would rather die. Sita was mystified. She had no idea what he meant. Feeling perturbed, she asked, what is wrong, my dear brother? Is something amiss with Rama? Speak out the truth at once. Lakshman sighed. Gazing downwards, he said, O Janaki, before we left Ayodhya, Your husband was told about most painful rumors circulating among the people. The words he heard cannot be repeated by me. Yet even though you have been proven to be free from blame by the gods themselves, Rama could not ignore the complaints. Struck with grief, he ordered me to bring you here and then return alone. O gentle lady, you have been forsaken by him out of fear of disrepute. Lakshman broke off, too pained to continue. Sita stood as though petrified. She could hardly believe that what she was hearing. Had she been born only to experience grief? Covering her face with her two bejeweled hands, she dropped to the earth with a piteous wail. Getting a grip of himself, Lakshman said, "Do not give way to sorrow, Queen. Here is Valmiki's delightful ashrama. Approach him for shelter and live here peacefully. Remain loyal to your husband, observe fast and practice prayer and meditation. Keeping Rama forever in your heart, you will doubtless secure your everlasting welfare." Sita fainted and lay on the ground, looking like a wild creeper bedecked with blossoms and torn from a tree. Coming round after some moments, she began to lament, "Alas, this mortal frame was certainly fashioned by the Creator simply for sorrow. Indeed, today it seems like a very embodiment of grief. What sin did I commit that I should suffer in this way? How can I live all alone in the hermitages of the sages? What will I say to those ascetics when they ask me why I was abandoned by the great Raghava? I would at once drown myself in the flowing Ganges, but I would thus break Rama's line of killing his unborn child. O Lakshman, do what you must, forsake me, the miserable one, but listen first to what I have to say now." Sita got to her feet. Shaking with sorrow, she held onto a tree for support as she spoke to Lakshman. "O tiger among men, go then to Ayodhya and leave me here. After offering my respects to all my seniors, please say this to my lord. O Raghava, you should always act in such a way as to ensure your unrivaled fame in this world. Surely my abandonment is necessary to save you from ill repute. Thus, although torn by grief, I feel no anger. For chaste women, the husband is the master, deity, and preceptor." Having spoken her message for Rama, Sita dropped again to the ground. Lakshman looked at her with tear-filled eyes. Unable to make any reply, he cried loudly and bowed his head to the earth. He then walked around Sita with his palms folded. After regaining his balance of mind, he said, "O faultless one, to say farewell and now look upon your face for the first time. Oh, how can I bear to see you separated from Rama and dwelling in the deep forest?" Crying, Lakshman bowed again to Sita and then ascended his chariot where Sumantra sat in silent sorrow. He urged on the horses and the chariot moved off. As he went along the path away from the river, the grief-stricken Lakshman could hear Sita's plaintive cries echoing through the woods, resembling those of peacock calling for its mate. Shortly after Lakshman had left, a couple of young ascetics were walking in the woods to gather firewood when they heard Sita's sobs. Spying her through the trees, they ran back to their hermitage and spoke to Valmiki. "Sir, some noble lady looking exactly like the goddess of fortune lies near the riverbank, crying loudly in despair. Perhaps she has descended from the heavens. She certainly does not deserve any pain or sorrow. In our view, she is divine woman who has sought your shelter. O Lord, we feel she is worthy of your protection." Valmiki could understand everything by the virtue of his inner vision. Taking up an offering of arghya, he went quickly toward the river, followed by his disciples. The effulgent sage found Sita lying with her arms outstretched, weeping. He spoke to her comfortingly, "O gentle one, I know you are Dashandra's daughter-in-law and the beloved queen of Rama. I am Valmiki. Welcome to my hermitage. By my meditations, I have understood why you are here. Indeed, that exists within the three worlds is known to me. I thus know your purity and blamelessness. O child, be composed and accept this offering. Come with me to the ashrama of the female ascetics. They will surely take care of you as if you were their own daughter. It will be exactly like your own home." Sita bowed respectfully to the sage and accepted the agriya he was Proffering, she replied, "Let it be as you say, O great Rishi." Valmiki led the way to the ladies' ashrama. As they reached that secluded and delightful part of the woods, some of the elder ladies came out of it to greet them. One of them asked, "What would you have us do, O great of sages?" Or the greatest of sages, Valmiki introduced Sita to the ladies and asked that they take good care of her. He told them that she was expecting Rama's child and should be afforded all affection and respect, exactly as they would show the sage himself. Receiving the assurances, he then returned back to his own ashrama. Sita began to reside with the ascetics, her mind always wrapped in thought of Rama.
Will you read? No. No, what's reading Ramayana? Yeah. Every day? Yeah, please come. Nice, nice, nice. Krishna. For some time, Lakshman and Sumitra traveled in silence, thinking of Sita. Finally, as the chariot came out of the forest and onto the main road leading to Ayodhya, Lakshman said, "O charioteer, how great must be Rama's grief that he is again separated from Sita. Truly, this is the effect of destiny. Fate is inexorable. It is not astonishing that Rama, who could extirpate the entire celestial host, should have to submit to fate. It seems to me that Rama was more pained by banishing Sita than he was by his own exile and even her abdiction. Why did he submit to the cruel words of the citizens? What virtue did he acquire? Sumantra comforted Lakshman. He then told him of a story he had long ago heard from the Rishi Durvasa. This says once stayed at Vasishtha's hermitage. O prince, at the time your father went there and had rode his chariot, he inquired from Durvasa about the prospects for his sons, how long they would live and rule over the world. Durvasa then narrated the following history. Lakshman listened attentively as Sumatra repeated that he had heard from the Rishi. Durvasa had described how in ancient times the Daityas had been conquered in battle by the gods. They had fled and sought shelter in the ashrama of the powerful sage Bhrigu. Only the sage's wife had been present, and out of compassion she let him hide in the ashrama. When Vishnu, who was assisting the gods in their campaign against the Daityas, learned of this, he became angry with Bhrugu's wife and severed her dead with his disgust. Bhrigu had then returned and seen his wife slain by Vishnu. He immediately cursed Vishnu, saying, "As you have killed my innocent spouse, so you will take birth in the mortal world and make it separation from your wives for many years." Sumantra concluded his story. As soon as he uttered the curse, Bhrigu became sorry and he bowed at Vishnu's feet and worshipped him. However, Vishnu said, "O sage for the Lord, who says for the good of the world, I shall accept this curse." Durvasa then went on to explain that although Rama would become the Lord of Ayodhya and rule over the earth for 11,000 years, he would be separated from Sita. Thus it has come to pass, O Lakshman, for the words of the rishis can never fail. As Sumantra ended his story, the chariot approached Ayodhya. Entering the city, Lakshman went at once to the royal court. He found Rama seated on his throne with his face downcast. Lakshman fell at his feet and told him that Sita had been left at Valmiki's ashrama. In a pained voice, he said, "Do not grieve, O tiger among men. All gains end in loss, all elevations end in fall, all union must end in separation. And life itself always ends in death. The wise therefore do not become attached to wives, sons, friends, or riches. You know well this well. O Rama, therefore take heart and shape of your sorrow. Lakshman assured Rama that the dispute among the people would now be destroyed by Rama's act of sending Sita away. Rama appeared encouraged by Lakshman. He smiled and replied, "What you say is true, O hero. I shall take joy in the execution of my duties, for this is a path to everlasting happiness. Let us rest now for the night." Rama stood up and embraced his brother, and then they retired to their quarters. 12 years of Rama's rule went by. During that period, his dominion over the earth became firmly established as all other monarchs paid him tribute. His brother Shatrughna slew a powerful demon named Ravana, and all other demonic elements were subdued. Rama then thought of performing an Ashwamedha sacrifice for the benefit of the world. Arrangements were made and invitations sent out to all the kings of the earth, as well as to many great rishis. Valmiki was also invited and he prepared himself to go to Ayodhya. While in Valmiki's ashrama, Sita had given birth to twin sons called named Lava and Kusha. The boys had been lovingly raised by Valmiki as if they were his own sons. Despite never having seen their father, they had flourished in Valmiki's ashrama and grown into powerful youths. Valmiki had taught them all Vedic knowledge and had also taught them Rama's story, which they become expert in reciting. As the time for Rama's sacrifice approached, Valmiki took both Lava and Kusa as well as hundreds of his other disciples and went to Ayodhya. He entered the sacrificial arena like the sun surrounded by glowing planets. As soon as Rama saw him, he immediately ordered that he be worshipped and offered a place of honor in the sacrifice. After he had been shown to his quarters, Valmiki said to Lava and Kusha, "Tomorrow you two should go among the Brahmins here and sing the Ramayana. Go also to Rama's palace and sing this most holy narration, where the king will hear it. If Rama calls before him, then you should recite to him the poem in its entirety. Sing it to the best of your ability and with a pure heart. Do not let your minds be captivated by the opulence and wealth that you see. If Rama should ask whose sons you are, you should tell him that you are two disciples of Valmiki." The two humble and obedient boys replied, "We shall do exactly as you ask, O Lord." The boys were eager to meet Rama, as well as knowing the Ramayana by heart. They had heard their mother speak many times about Rama, and although they had come to see Valmiki as their father, they knew they were Rama's actual sons. Looking forward to meeting Rama the next day, they lay down happily for sleep by the side of the says. 2 hours before sunrise, the boys rose and performed their ablutions. After saying their morning prayers, they made their way to the assembly of Brahmins and began to sing the Ramayana. As they sang, they expertly played upon lutes, and the music they produced stole the heart and captivated the mind. The Brahmin sages were enthralled and they repeatedly applauded the boys' excellent work, and we are all amazed by this magnificent poem. Its exquisite music and vigor are without compare. It is replete with the nine sentiments of love, pathos, mirth, heroism, terror, wrath, disgust, wonder, and serenity. The boys' expert singing creates a vivid picture of the story they are telling, and we feel as if we are seeing it actually happen. The sages gazed in wonder at the twins. They both looked like Rama himself and were endowed with many auspicious marks. After making various gifts to the boys, the Brahmin said, "This song, composed by Valmiki, will be sung by poets throughout all the ages. It is conducive to long life, begets prosperity, invokes all good fortune, and ravishes the ears and mind of the hearer. Go now, dear boys, and recite it for the pleasure of Rama himself." The twins offered their obeisances to the sages and went at once to the palace compound, where they again began to sing. Hearing them from within the place, Rama immediately ordered that they be brought in. They were offered golden seats within the royal court, and Rama said to the ascetics, "We have heard your excellent singing. Please recite your poem here for the pleasure of the Brahmins in this court, as well as my brothers and myself. I think there is no song its equal, nor indeed singers such as yourselves." Rama looked carefully at the two boys. He turned to Lakshman and said, "Although dressed as ascetics, these two appear like rulers of the earth. Surely they are from royal stock, or even have some divine origin. Let us listen now as they repeat their wonderful poem." The entire royal assembly sat enchanted while the boys sang. As evening approached and they completed their recitation, Rama said, "Wonderful, wonderful. Oh boys, we desire to know who you are and from where you have come. I wish to bestow upon you gold and other gifts in abundance." The boys replied that they were Valmiki's disciples. Remembering the Rishi's instructions, they politely declined Rama's offer of wealth and asked his permission that they be allowed to return to Valmiki. Rama agreed and the boys departed, leaving the assembly astonished and entranced by what they had heard. After they had gone, Rama dismissed the assembly and sat alone. Hearing his son recite his life story had made him think of Sita. He longed to see her again, and it was ordained by the scripture that a king should perform sacrifice with his wife. It had been 12 years since Sita's departure, and he had not seen her since. His heart had often ached with her separation, but he had wanted to make absolutely certain that the people had no cause at all to criticize him. Feeling that this had now been achieved, Rama decided to bring Sita to the sacrifice. He summoned Bhadra and said, "Please have the Venerable says Valmiki informed that I would like him to fetch Sita. Let both he and the queen herself take oath before the assembly that she has always remained pure. I do not want any further obloquy about myself or Sita's upbringing in the kingdom." Bhadra, surprised and flattered by Rama's request, replied, "It shall be done as you wish, my lord." Envoys left at once and told Valmiki of Rama's desire. The sage immediately made arrangements for Sita to be brought from his hermitage. He told the messengers that she would be present the following day and they left to inform Rama. The next morning, Rama addressed the royal court. "Today, the noble Sita will come to the sacrifice. There, she will take oath as to her purity, supported by the great Rishi Valmiki, who has given her shelter these last 12 years. I desire that all the kings and sages hear this testimony. Indeed, let as many people as may desire be present." The assembly cheered Rama, and everyone began to make their way to the sacrificial arena outside the city. All of them longed to see Rama and Sita united again, although they did not question Rama's judgment. It had broken their hearts when he had sent the queen away. For 12 years they had prayed for this day when she might return. Gradually, the vast arena filled up with royalty and rishis. All the greatest sages in the world came there. Narada, Parvata, Vasishtha, Vamadeva, Kasyapa, Vishwamitra, Durvasa, Shavana, and hundreds more were seen there. Representatives of the Rakshasas as well as many Vanaras, Gandharvas, and other celestials arrived. In the sky, the gods assembled, and Rama took his place in the arena. Valmiki then made his way to the center of the arena, followed by Sita. She was dressed in an orange-colored saree and her golden earrings glinted in the sunshine as she walked with her head down. Although she thought only of Rama within her heart, out of fear she did not look up at him. She folded her palms in respect and stood silently before her husband. Seeing the queen with downcast expression, the assembly was agitated and gave out various surprise. Some were sorrowful, some praised Rama, and still others praised Sita. When everyone finally settled down, Valmiki began to speak. "O son of Dasarada, out of fear of criticism, this pure Sita of righteous conduct was left by you near my hermitage. She will now testify to you as to her unfailing purity. I too can swear that this chaste lady is sinless. I do not remember ever having spoken as untruth. O Rama, know for sure that Sita is entirely free from wicked conduct of any kind. Know also that the two boys who recited the Ramayana to you are certainly both your sons. I have practiced penance for many thousands of years, and if my words are false, then may I not obtain the fruit of that asceticism. Knowing that Sita was innocent, I accepted her into my ashrama. She is devoted to you only, O Rama, and will never sway from you under any circumstances. Rama smiled. It is exactly as you say, O Brahmin. I also know Sita to be without blame. This was previously established by even the gods, and thus did I allow her to enter my house. Only due to public censure I send her away again. Even though I never doubted her innocence, please forgive me. I hereby proclaim my love for the chaste Sita. I also accept these two boys, Lava and Kusa, as my sons. Let her now take oath before this assembly and establish her purity once and for all. Sita slowly looked up at her husband, who gazed at her with affection. She glanced around the assembly as well as many kings and rishis. She saw all classes of celestials standing there Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Satyas, Vishwadevas, Nagas, and numerous others. Above the assembly on his fan carrier sat Brahma, the universal creator, surrounded by all the principal court. Everyone waited silently for Sita to speak. With her hands folded in front of her face, Sita looked down again and said in a tremulous voice, if I have never even thought about anyone other than Rama, then may the earth goddesses grant me shelter. As I worship only Rama in mind, speech, and action, so may the earth give me space. If I have truthfully said that I know only Rama as my Lord, let the earth receive me now. Sita felt that she had become a problem for Rama. Despite having been declared pure by even the ever truthful gods, still the doubts remained. It seemed that as long as she was present, there would be those who would find fault with Rama. She would have given up her life the very day she had been sent away to the forest. If she had not been pregnant with Rama's sons, now the boys were old enough to join their father in the city. It was time for her to depart. Rama's reputation could not be sullied by even the slightest doubt, and only her departure could ensure that. As Sita finished speaking, the ground next to her opened up, and a celestial throne rose up. The brilliant visual seat was borne on the heads of four great Naga snakes. Sitting on it was Bhumi, the earth goddess, glowing with her divine effulgence. She rose up and held out her hand to Sita with gentle words of welcome. Sita got onto the throne and sat next to Bhumi. Suddenly, a great shower of fragrant flowers fell from the sky and covered Sita. The gods loudly praised Sita, and as all the kings and rishis looked on in amazement, the throne slowly re entered the earth. Everyone glorified Sita for her incomparable devotion and chastity to Rama. Rama himself cried out as Sita disappeared into the earth, which again closed as the throne entered within. He leaned on the side of his seat and wept in grief, wringing his hands in despair. He said, upon seeing Sita enter the earth, I am afflicted with a sorrow greater than I have ever known before. How can I tolerate it? How shall I allow Sita to be taken by the earth? When she was stolen by Ravana, I crossed the vast ocean on foot to recover her. I shall again bring her back or go with her for good. Rama looked down at the earth, becoming angry. He said, O goddesses, we should return Sita to me, or you will feel my earth breath. Sita was formally brought out from your womb, thus you are my mother in law. Therefore, be kind to me and return Sita, or else grant space to me also. I will stay with Sita wherever she has gone, whether it be heaven or the nether regions, or earth. Goddess, hear my words, or else I shall destroy you with all your mountains and forests. Rama's eyes blazed in anger and he stood up, reaching for the bow by his side. Brahma then spoke from his position about the sacrifice. O Rama, Lord of all the worlds, do not be grieved. Remember your identity as Vishnu. By your own arrangement has the separation from Sita been ordained. The pure and noble daughter of Janaka has gone to celestial realms where you will see her again without doubt. O Lord, listen now as your sons finish the narration of Ramayana. They will recite to you all of your future acts, culminating in your return to your spiritual abode. Everything is happening according to your will, O Rama. Do not therefore destroy the world. Rama was pacified by Brahma's speech and he sat down again. Seeing him peaceful, the god gods departed for the heavens. As evening fell, the assembly dispersed, and Rama went sorrowfully back to his palace, taking his two sons with him. The following morning, Rama had Lava and Kusa sing the remaining portion of Ramayana, dealing with future events. Sitting amid his ministers and the court Brahmins, Rama listened as the two boys recited the beautiful poetry they had heard from Valmiki. They briefly described the period of Rama's rule over the earth, a time of unparalleled peace and opulence. Their narration was concluded with a description of how Rama and his brothers would finally leave the world. After Sita's departure from the world, Rama often thought of her. He could not even think of taking another wife as he had an exquisite gold image of Sita made by expert artisans. That statue sat next to him in the royal court and did sacrifices serving as a queen. A period of 11,000 years passed with Rama ruling the world, assisted by his three brothers. He performed 10,000 great sacrifices and the earth enjoyed unprecedented opulence. All creatures were happy and everything functioned in accordance with the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. Religion was firmly established and everyone led pious lives. One day, toward the end of his rule, Rama was visited by an unusual ascetic who glowed with a divine radiance. That Brahmin have been worshipped by Rama introduced himself as a messenger of Brahma. He asked for a private audience with Rama, saying, "I Emperor, no one should hear the words that pass between us. If anyone should interrupt us, then they must be killed by you." Agreeing to this request from the Brahmin, Rama brought him into his personal quarters. He told Lakshman to stand outside and prevent anyone from entering, explaining to him what the ascetic had said. When they were alone, the ascetic said to Rama, "O Lord, you should know that I am dead. Brahma had asked me to come here and inform you that the time allotted for your earthly pastimes is drawing to a close. You have achieved all that you desired to achieve. Now if it so pleases you, you may return to your own eternal abode." Death described to Rama some of his former incarnations in this material world, concluding by saying, "O Rama, you are the eternal supreme being. You appear in the world to establish religion and destroy the demons. The time set by yourself for this incarnation is now almost over. Be pleased them to resume your place as the Lord and protector of the gods." Rama laughingly replied, "O destroyer of all, welcome is your visit here. Surely your words fill me with pleasure. It is indeed time for my departure. Please return to Brahma and tell him that I and all my brothers shall leave within a short time." As Rama spoke with Dev, the great mystic Durvasa came to the city, desiring to see Rama. He was shown into the palace, where he was met by Lakshman. He asked for an audience with Rama, but Lakshman told him Rama was busy at the time. Immediately blazing up with anger, Durvasa said, "I will not be kept waiting. Go at once, O son of Sumitra, and inform Rama of my presence. Otherwise, know that I shall curse you, your brothers, this territory, and all your descendants. Indeed, my anger is already difficult to contain." Seeing the irascible sage preparing to utter a curse, Lakshman bowed to him and quickly went towards Rama's quarters, thinking, "Let there be only my death rather than that of all of my kinsmen." He entered the room where he saw Rama speaking with death. When Rama heard that Durvasa was waiting, he immediately came out to greet him. Touching the rishis' feet, he asked, "What shall I do to please you, O great one?" Durvasa replied that he had been fasting for 1,000 years and decided to take food that day and break his fast. "Kindly bring me cooked food, O Rama, so that I may end my long penance." Rama had Durvasa seated comfortably in the palace and he personally served him with varieties of excellent food. After the sage had left and death had also departed, Lakshman said to Rama, "I must now die, dear brother, for that was a promise you made to the earth. Punish me in accord with your word to the deity." Remembering his discussion with this, Rama felt shocked, speechless with grief at the thought of separation from Lakshman. He shed tears and stood gazing at his beloved brother. How could he be killed? Lakshman folded his palms and said, "Do not feel sorrow for me, a gracious one. Time is all powerful, bound by our former acts. We must all come under death's sway. O king, keep your promise without fear. Those men who break their promises will go to hell." Rama sat down on his throne, struck with sorrow. He called for his ministers and informed them of what had taken place. Vasishtha then said, O Rama, all this way forcing by me, the time for the conclusion of your pastimes has arrived. You should abandon Lakshman now, do not give up your promise, for if you do, then righteousness in this world will perish. Along with righteousness, all beings will also be destroyed. Therefore, O lion among men, be separated from Lakshman today. Rama looked at Lakshman, highly view, O son of Sumitra, let not what you suffer. Desertion and slaying are considered equal according to the wise, therefore do I abandon you today.
Lakshman prostrated himself before Rama with the tears in his eyes. He then stood up and left the palace, going directly to the forest. Reaching the banks of the Saruya, he sat down in meditation, preparing to observe the prayer vow of fasting till death. With his eyes half closed, he suspended his breathing and entered a deep trance. As he sat absorbed in thought of the Supreme, Indra came there invisible to all and took him away to the heavens. Thus it appeared to all men that Lakshmana had died. Hearing of this, Rama was overcome by grief. He felt that he could not remain on earth any longer. Crying out in pain, he said, I shall confer the kingdom on Bharata. This very day I will follow the path taken by Lakshmana. Bharata replied, how can I think of ruling the world in your absence, O Rama? Along with Shatrughna, we shall all live together. Bestow the kingdom upon your two sons. Vasishtha agreed with Bharata. This is proper, O Rama. The time fixed by yourself for your rule has all but ended. Surely you must now depart, taking your brothers, who are all a part of yourselves. Knowing this, the people have become afflicted with sorrow. They are lying prostrate on the ground, mortified at the thought of losing you. Rama was upset to hear of the citizens' unhappiness. He called for their chief representative and said, what should I do to assuage your grief? I must now leave this world. The citizens begged Rama to take them all with him. Wherever you are going, O Lord, be it the forest, mountains, ocean, heaven, or even hell, we desire to follow you. If it pleases you, let us accompany you. Rama assented, it shall be so. He then arranged for his sons to be coronated. Lava and Kusha could hardly face the prospect of separation from their father. They loudly lamented and fell to the earth when they heard that Rama was departing. Rama gently raised them and said, dear sons, you must remain on earth to carry on a righteous rule. Establish your capitals in the modern and southern territories. Always thinking of me, lead the people with justice and compassion. Surely we will be united again in the future. Lava and Kusha tightly embraced their father and then left Ayodhya for their respective kingdoms, which became known as Kushavati and Sravasti, taking vast amounts of wealth with them. After this, Rama dressed himself in pure white skills and prepared to leave. After this, Rama dressed himself in pure white silks and prepared to leave Ayodhya. The next morning, he had Brahmanas take his sacred fire from the palace and lead the way towards the forest. With Vasishtha reciting hymns from the Samaveda, Rama went slowly out of the city seated on a great golden chariot. Those with divine sight could see by his two sides of goddess Lakshmi and Bhumi. With Vasishtha reciting hymns from the Samaveda, Rama went slowly out of the city seated on a golden chariot. Those with the divine sight could see by his two sides the goddess Lakshmi and Bhumi. Ahead of him went the personified power of resolution, while all around him were his weapons in human forms. Rama was followed by the Vedas in the form of Brahmins, as well by the goddess Gayatri and personified form of Omkara, the divine syllable always meditated upon by great yogis. All the female inhabitants of the palace then followed, accompanied All the female inhabitants of the palace then followed, accompanied by Bharat and Shatrughna. Crowds of ascetics chanting Vedic mantras came at the head of the citizens, who were grouped according to their respective classes. Hundreds of thousands of Vanaras, Rakshasas, and bears also followed behind. Everyone left Ayodhya to go with Rama. Even the animals and birds left the city and went with the procession. No living creature of any kind remained in Ayodhya, and they all made their way westward to the banks of Sarayu. As they traveled, Rama met one last time with Hanuman to say his farewells. Embracing the monkey, he said, "You have made your decision to remain here on earth, so do not let your words become false." Hanuman replied, "Surely I shall always be in your presence simply by hearing of your glories. O Lord, so long as your divine narration circulates in this world, so I shall remain." Wow. Rama also asked two other Vanaras, Mainda and Vividha, to stay behind, as well as the king of the bears, Jambavan. They all bowed before Rama, saying, "So be it." Meeting with Vibhishana, Rama said to him, "O best of the Rakshasas, you should stay in this world to rule over your people. As long as the sun and the moon stay in the heavens, so will your rule last. Always worship Vishnu in his form as Jagannatha, the presiding deity of the Ikshvakus." Accepting that order, Vibhishana prostrated himself before Rama and then left for Lanka. Followed by his vast entourage, Rama traveled upriver to the point where it joined the Ganges, then went along the course of that holy river until he reached the foot of the mountain from where it emanated. At that place where the path to heaven could be found, millions of divine chariots appeared. All the gods headed by Brahma were visible. Celestial music played by the Gandharvas could be heard, and showers of flowers fell from the skies. It was seen that Vishnu appeared in the sky on the back of the Garuda within the sight of all, and being praised by the gods, Rama and his two brothers entered Vishnu's form. Every creature present, who were all absorbed in the thoughts of Rama, then gave up their mortal bodies and assumed their eternal spiritual forms. The gods saw them rising up on the celestial chariots towards Rama's undecaying abode in the spiritual world. It seemed to those celestials that the very city Ayodhya went with Rama. Astonished by this unprecedented sight, Brahma and the gods left for their own abodes, praising Rama within their hearts. His pastimes were complete. Jai Shri Ram. Wow. Hari Hari. Sitaramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. Huh?
If you want to continue, you can otherwise.
ఇది ఓన్లీ అపెండిక్స్ యాక్చువల్గా ఇది అయిపోయినట్టుంది కదా
అయిపోయింది.
ఒక్క నిమిషం చూడండి నేను ఎంతవరకు ఇది చూడలేదు ఇక్కడ రామాయణం ఇది అయిపోయింది ఓకే ఇది అయిపోయింది అయితే అపెండిక్స్ 1 ఓకే నో మాతాజీ దట్స్ ఓకే నాకు మా వాళ్ళు ఫోన్ చేస్తూనే ఉన్నారు ఓకేనా థ్యాంక్ యూ మాతాజీ ఫర్ దిస్ ఆపర్చునిటీ
Ganesh. Actually, actually, the reading is completed. If you want to do it, you can read that one.
Okay.
If you're interested, you can do it.
The story of river Ganges, told by Vishwamitra to Ram and Lakshman upon reaching the Ganges. In the far north, there stands Himalaya, the king of mountains, whose presiding deity is known as Himavan. This Himavan, through his consort Mena, the daughter of the celestial Mount Meru, begot two charming daughters, both matchless in beauty. The elder of the two was named Ganga, and upon the supplications of the gods, she later became this holy water. The other girl was called Uma, and her father conferred her upon the unlimitedly powerful Shiva to be his wife. After marrying that girl, who is also known in this world as Parvati, Shiva sported with her in regions of celestial bliss. Becoming concerned, the goddess of Brahma, becoming concerned, the gods with Brahma at their head went before Shiva. They fell prostrate before him and to him and said to him, O Lord, the worlds will not be able to bear your seed should it be released into Uma. The combined power of you and your consort will surely be unbearable to all beings. Please, therefore, retain your vital energy within your supremely splendid self. You will thereby preserve the worlds from being burned by brilliance of your progeny. Shiva, who always remained fixed in thought of Vishnu and is ever compassionate to all beings, replied, It shall be as you say, for the words of the gods can never be denied. But my vital seed already stands dislodged from my heart. Where then shall it fall? Brahma replied, Your seed should fall upon earth, for she alone is capable of withstanding its power, bearing as she does the weight of all creatures. Shiva let fall his seed, which covered the whole globe. Brahma instructed Agni, the god of fire, accompanied by Vayu, move quickly across the surface of the earth and suck up Shiva's mighty seed. Previously, the gods had asked me that I provide them with powerful commander for their army, cause Shiva's seed to be born by Ganga, so that she may bring forth a blazing sun who will become the generals of the gods. Agni at once caught up all of Shiva's vital fluid and went before Ganga, saying, Be pleased to receive Shiva's seed, O goddess. Ganga assumed an ethereal human form of exceptionally exquisite beauty. Upon seeing this form, Shiva's seed melted, and the god of fire impregnated Ganga all over with that glowing fluid. Burning with Shiva's fiery seed coursing through her veins, Goddess Ganga said to Agni, O shining one, I cannot bear this flaming seed, which has been made even more powerful by your touch. Agni told her to discharge the seed upon the Himalayas, and Ganga immediately expelled it from her body. It emerged from her in a brilliant stream and fell upon the earth, forming vast veins of gold and silver. Even at great distance, mines of copper, lead, and tin were created by that divine fluid. In the exact spot where Shiva's vital seed landed, there grew up a thicket of brilliant white reeds. The union of Ganga with the seed of Shiva conceived a child who was born from out of those reeds. He has become known in all the worlds as Skanda. Indeed, he is the powerful general of the gods, also famous as Kartikeya, for he was raised by six goddesses known as Kritikas. Even now, that god can be seen in the sky shining amid the constellation of Kritika. After Kartikeya's birth, the gods approached Shiva's consort and, pleased in mind, worshipped her. However, she felt angry at having been denied a union with her consort, and with bloodshot eyes she pronounced a curse upon both the gods and the earth. As I was denied my desire of getting a son, so too shall all of you gods remain always issueless. This earth shall have a jagged surface of many shapes and forms, and shall have many masters. She shall never enjoy the delight of having a son, since she has deprived me of my own child. Sometime after this, a king named Sagara ruled over Ayodhya. From out of his two wives, the king had 60,001 sons. By the god's arrangement, one wife gave birth to a fetus shaped like a god, which then split into 60,000 pieces. These pieces were placed in 60,000 pots of ghee, and gradually they grew into babies. The other wife gave birth to a boy in the normal way. The 60,000 sons were of wicked conduct and caused pain to all living beings. The one son, however, was pious and became the beloved of all the people. One day, King Sagar performed a horse sacrifice for the good of the world. Upon seeing the sacrifice, Indra became concerned that Sagara may exceed him in pious merits and thereby take his post in heaven, which Indra himself had won by the performance of pious acts of the sacrifice. Indra thus assumed the form of fierce Rakshasa and seized the sacrificial horse, taking it away to a distant place. King Sagar ordered his 60,000 sons to search out that horse. The princes traveled all over the earth but could not see the horse. They excavated the earth's surface and searched the subterranean regions, but still no avail. Excavating and looking in all directions, the princes created havoc and killed innumerable creatures. The gods went before Brahma and asked that he stop them. The Brahma informed them that Mother Earth is always protected by the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who was at that time dwelling in Earth's subterranean region. Sagara's sons would soon be destroyed by that very Lord, who had assumed the form of sage named Kapila. In time, the princess arrived before Kapila and found him seated in meditation. The sacrificial horse was grazing nearby, left there by Indra. Becoming furious, they said to Kapila, O evil-minded one, you have stolen this horse. We shall now kill you and take it back. Hearing this threat and seeing before him the 60,000 sons of Sagara, Kapila, a sage of immeasurable power, became angry. Due to their offense in having assailed the divine Rishi Kapila, all the princes were immediately burnt to ashes by a fire which emanated from their own bodies. After some time, King Sagara became concerned about his sons. He ordered this one remaining son, Amsuman, to go after them. Amsuman also found Kapila sitting in meditation and saw before him his brother's ashes, destroyed by their offense against the sage. Grieved by his brother's death, Amsuman looked all around and saw Garuda, Vishnu's great eagle carrier, who had come to serve his master. Garuda told Amsuman that he should devise some plan to bring the Ganges to the earth so that her waters could flow across his brother's ashes and thus liberate them from hell. Amsuman offered praise to Kapila and received from him the horse, whereupon he went back to his father. Despite every attempt to perform sacrifice and pray to the gods, neither Sagara nor his son were able to cause the Ganges to flow across the earth. It was several generations later that the famous king Bhagiratha finally succeeded. By dint of his great asceticism, he pleased Brahma, who ordered the Ganges to fall on earth. The river Ganges, known in heaven as the Mandakini, emanated originally from Vishnu's foot. When he kicked a small hole in the shell of the universe, the waters of the causal ocean, in which all the innumerable universes float, entered. Falling down to the heavens, the water was entered by the goddess Ganga, who then, on Brahma's order, brought it down to earth. This water filled a huge excavation made by Sagara's sons and thereby became the great ocean. It flowed to the subterranean region where it liberated the 60,000 princes by covering their ashes. It is the same sacred river made holy by the touch of Lord Vishnu's foot, and which you now see before you, O valiant princess. To this very day, anyone whose ashes are placed in the river is immediately liberated. Hari Bol. Appendix 2. The history of Vishwamitra, told to Ram by Satananda, the priest of King Janak.
Actually, the Ramayana reading is over. If you want to continue appendixes, you can, otherwise you can stop.
Okay.
Okay, then you can stop here.
I'll stop here.
I'll stop. Mataji, please stop the recording.